Hello everybody, today I wanted to go over some tips to help make your life easier, especially as you get into World Tier 3. I just wanted to do some warnings, maybe try to help you mitigate some of the pain that you might feel because the defense changes are a little rough in World Tier 3. But anyways, so the first thing I'm going to say is when it comes to leveling up, remember this, okay? You need to think about, what the heck am I doing? There we go. You need to think about your vampire powers, right? So at some point, you are going to have to farm a bunch of blood, right? And the higher up you go does not change the rate at which you get blood. So a great way to level that can also knock out the vampiric powers is to just do the seasonal quest line so you can get these blood harvests and stuff unlocked, and then just go and do these non-stop, right? The moment you just go ahead, do these all the way up until you get the whispers. Heck, you can even keep doing them past that, right? And then level up through that, and you'll have a pretty good time getting all of your vampiric powers unlocked, as well as just not having to do this later, right? Because that's something that I didn't do. So I actually went and did, when the season journey was bugged, unfortunately, I went and I did Domhain tunnels because I didn't want to have to redo a bunch of stuff. But looking back, what I should have done is just started doing blood harvests. Like, doing Domhain tunnels is cool, but there's a lot of farming you're going to have to do, because if you're not familiar with how the vampiric power system works, it's like a lottery, okay? Whenever you click your spend blood, it randomly selects 3 of these. It gives you either the chance to either unlock a new one that you don't have, or upgrade an existing one that you do have, right? So you have to remember that. So I've spent, who knows, probably thousands of blood, right? And I only have just one thing at level 3, right? And I think Moonrise is about to hit level 3 as well, but you can see here I still have like some level 2, level 1 powers, and it's because of that. But if you look over here, I have like a ton of experience all just scattered out through this, right? So it's definitely very important to start doing the whole blood thing earlier, because it is kind of like a, I don't know, like a lottery system in a way, right, when it comes to leveling these things up. So you're going to have to do it at some point. I mean, I guess if you wanted to hit level 50 just so you could farm faster, that's cool, but it's not really going to stop the rate at which you get the blood. So, if you want to go do the Domhain tunnels and just level up to 50 real fast, you can do it, but it's not really my recommendation. I think that's boring anyway. I think it's much better to just go ahead and start knocking out, leveling up your vampire powers, and doing stuff like that, right? Get that seasonal quest done, etc. Okay. The next thing I wanted to talk about is come right over here actually. Make sure that you do not miss out on this hunter's board, because I actually did. I didn't even realize this was a thing. So while you're in and doing the blood harvests, you're going to get this thing called Hunter's Acclaim. As your Hunter's Acclaim goes up, you'll be able to come over here to this board, right? And you'll be able to claim new stuff. You can see here we have a Cursed Touch. And I believe this is the way you get a Cursed Touch. So if you're wanting to use this one in your build, I don't think you can get this any other way, because I was unable to get this until just now when I unlocked it here, right? So as you go, right, you can see here, boom, boom. We're just getting a cache of stuff here. So look at this, Bloodlord's Armory, right? Boom, free Sacred Weapon, sweet. Okay, pile of Vampiric Footwear, okay, boom, more free Sacred stuff. So don't miss out on this free gear that you can get from doing blood harvests. It's pretty nice. And I believe you also need to get this up if you're wanting to complete your season journey. I want to say you need to get this up very high. Let's see, where is it? Yeah, so reach reputation 10 in the blood harvest. So if you want to do the full completion of your season journey where you get all of them, I believe, yeah, you're going to have, yeah, you need to get it to at least, no, you're going to have to get at least level 18, right, which might be max, now that I'm thinking about it. Yeah, I think that's just max, right? You're going to have to max this out anyway. So if you're an achievement hunter and stuff like that, I think the blood harvests are cool. And honestly, guys, the blood harvests are fun as heck. Because if you don't know how these things work, you just go around, you kill stuff, you get these things called blood lures, and then you can take them to a place like this. This one requires 50. And after you activate all 3 altars, or it costs 150, you'll get to fight like 3 bosses. They all drop a bunch of legendaries, a bunch of loot. You fight like a horde of enemies. It's super cool. And then they have lesser ones that'll just summon the Bloodseekers. Yeah, and you can see here that they're also working with the Grim Favor. So then you can also get your Grim Favor reward, which is another experience boost. You can go. It's like once you hit World Tier 3, you can also go do some Hell Tides if you want to get that. But yeah, but when it comes to leveling up from 1 to 50, my recommendation really would be Blood Harvest. Okay, so that's it for leveling up, because you don't need to do Renown anymore, so you don't have some crazy reason to do dungeons. Okay, but the next thing would be as you level up, if you're finding that you're struggling, right, and you're not really getting any drops, make sure you go and try to just follow a leveling build, whether you use one of mine, whether you use one off max roll. It's really going to make your life a lot easier, because it's going to tell you, what builds you can make out of the aspects that you can just walk over and get. So, for example, if we go here to the season journey, we can see that you can get aspect to the Stampede now, so that's really good because you can combine that with Shepherd's aspect to give your core skills a bunch of damage. I know I actually found the Subterranean aspect. That was one of the legendaries that dropped for me first, where it makes it to where my Poison Creeper casts Landslide. So what did I do? I altered my build. I went ahead, put points into Landslide. I started using that, and all of a sudden I started one-shotting everything, right? So make sure that you follow the legendaries on your build path. Don't get so set in stone on like what you're going to play, because ultimately leveling builds are only for like the first 30 levels, because that's really when legendaries start to drop and you're going to need to alter your path. So at level 35 I found aspect of the Blurred Beast. Guess what? I immediately went into like a Poison Shred Companion Druid, to where I'm using things like Shepherd's aspect in order to buff this damage. So I put on things like Stampede, Shepherd's aspect, stuff like that. It's pretty good. I was able to do World Tier 3 Capstone Dungeon at level 40 with my friend. So not too bad, right? But make sure that you're doing that. The next thing is once you get into World Tier 3, because I know a lot of people are probably going to forget this, because it's been so long since you've had to make that that up into World Tier 3, but your weapon damage matters a lot. Okay, it matters a ton. So the moment you get into World Tier 3, your number one thing that you want to do is find a weapon, because it's going to feel like you have no power the moment you get to World Tier 3. You finally get like a sacred weapon, and then boom, all of a sudden you feel OP again, right? So just keep that in mind. Getting a weapon is going to be kind of like your number one focus when you hit World Tier 3. And the next thing is you need to remember that they changed elemental resistances. Now, I did not really notice elemental resistances as I was leveling up from 1 to 50, but once you hit World Tier 3, you very much notice them, especially if you're not like super geared yet, because you have to look at the penalty. So I'm on World Tier 4 right now, right? And it's reducing all of my resistances by 50%. So until I went and put gems in here, I was actually negative on my resistances, right? Which is not good. So you need to remember that, as you level up, it's going to be a little bit more important once you get into World Tier 3 and 4 to actually level up your amulet, because you're going to get more resist all on it. Your rings are going to give you more resist all on top of a single resist. And then because they rebuffed like disobedience up to like 66%, I'm actually not, and they also rebuffed like the secondary affixes like total armor and stuff like that up. I'm not really too worried about stacking armor anymore in these slots, because I know a lot of people just take the 250 armor. I'm probably going to start putting resistances in here, because man, it's just rough. Like it really is just kind of a rough life when it comes to these resistances. I was getting absolutely wrecked. Now granted, I am level 58 right when I went into World Tier 4, but at the same time I also have a pretty decent build put together. I have Blurred Beast, I have Great Staff of the Crone, I have everything I would need for the build. The issue is just whenever I'm fighting the elites, I just take so much damage from like the Molten Fire Enchanted, right? The Fire Enchanted is brutal. It is absolutely brutal, right? So make sure if you're playing like Druid, look at things like taking Ancestral Fortitude in your Paragon. I haven't got to the point where I can really take any resistances yet, but it might even, I don't know if it's going to be worth it, but we are going to have to hit the 70% cap, so you might start seeing people actually adjust their Paragon to take some of these resistance nodes so they can actually, survive and stuff. So yeah. But anyways, yeah, so that's kind of the tip there. The next thing is, if you are looking for uniques, do not forget about the Uber farming. So once you get into World Tier 3, you can complete caches, Then you turn in the cash, you get body parts, and you'll be able to do the Malignant Burrow, which is Varshan. Now, he is level 55, I believe, on World Tier 3, so he's really not too hard to do. Just go get, a Sacred Weapon, maybe level up your gear a little bit when you get into World Tier 3, and you should be able to go do him no problem once you just have somewhat of a build put together. I didn't even have my whole build put together at the time that I fought him, but he wasn't too bad. He works exactly like before, and that's going to be a good way to target farm uniques. You come over here, you have Glacial Fissure. This is going to be for World Tier 4 when it comes to fighting like the Beast in the Ice. You come over here, you have, Hall of the Penitent. I believe this is where you're going to fight Grigor. So to fight Grigor, you're going to go do Hell Tides, open up chests, you'll get the material you need to go fight him. Then with Varshan, you do the Whispers, get the body parts. You need a head, hand, and a femur to go fight him. And then to fight Lord Zir, all you have to do is Legion events and world bosses, and then you'll be able to go fight him. However, I don't recommend doing Lord Zir because he has the biggest loot table. So like, his loot table is massive. So even if you did, like for example, if you're looking for a great Staff of the Crone, the Varshan only drops 5 items because you have the 2 all-class items and then the 3 class-specific items. So it's going to be a lot easier if you go to him because he only has a 5-drop loot table, whereas Lord Zir has an 8-drop loot table, right? And for some classes, I think it's even worse. I think for Barbarian, he has like a 9 or 10-drop loot table, right? And you can get the uniques off of other bosses. I haven't done like a super in-depth look, but I know like if you're the only one I've seen that you can really only get off one boss is like Storm's Companion, and that's from like the Beast in the Ice, right? But yeah, so don't forget that. So if you need uniques or something like that, yeah, don't forget about those Ubers now exist. You can see here I already have a great Staff of the Crone, a Mad Wolf's Glee. I'm only level 58. It's super awesome. I did quite a few Varshans yesterday. But yeah, and then don't remember, or I guess don't forget about things like just ranking up your gear, stuff like that, because as you're leveling up, it's going to matter a lot more. But yeah, I think that's really going to do it for the main points I wanted to make. Was really just make sure when World Tier 3 think about all resist, stuff like that. Don't get too focused on leveling so efficiently because you have quite the grind ahead of you when it comes to vampiric powers, and I think getting that done early is probably better. But yeah, anyways guys, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe if you want to see more. I'll see you next time. Thanks.